Okay, thanks for joining us for the AEW Full Gear Virtual Media Scrum, live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville. With us now, we have the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. And the first question will be from Jim Barcelone from the Miami Herald. He'll be followed by AJ from the AJ Awesome Show. Okay, Jim, you are up.
All right, congratulations, guys. Like the hats, by the way. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, this whole show was outstanding. I mean, even from the Serena D match and the pre-show and all, and just going through it. You know, you guys are getting ready for your match, but are you able to watch some of it and just see how everybody's killing it? And how does that get you guys going and getting ready for your match?
Yeah, we had the television monitor on in the EVP office. We watched the entire thing, and it was so encouraging to see everybody just going out there and killing it, and it really motivated us. And we were match 5, so there were so many good matches before us. We were looking at each other like, right, we really got to bring it tonight.
At some points, though, it actually becomes distracting because
right,
we're trying to focus on our match, but then you get so invested in the action that's going on.
Yeah, I got to grab Nick. I'm like,
oh, man.
Focus, pay
right,
attention, get your cloak, get your gear
and
on.
It brings a little, like, a lot of nerves because they're stealing the show, and right, you're like, wait a minute, I want to steal the show. We got to go out there and kill it. So
right, I'm so happy for everybody.
It was a great show.
Home run.
Very good show.
Home run.
Thanks. Okay, AJ, you are up.
Hello. Congratulations on the big win.
Thanks, AJ. Good to hear AJ's voice again.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
Since it's such a big win, what are your plans to celebrate after that big win?
Oh, man. You know what we're doing? We already had Brandon Cutler order 4 large pizzas for our room. We're about to go eat pizza, pepperoni pizza. Yeah. And you'll see how we celebrated right after the match if you watch BTE this Monday. So we're probably going to celebrate a little bit more tomorrow when we fly home and see our families.
Yep.
Man, I can't wait to show my kids
the title. I just recently found out that I basically having any type of dairy is poison to me. So I haven't eaten any dairy or cheese or anything in 3 months.
So you're going to be sick.
It's going to be ugly, but I deserve it. I think
yeah,
I feel like it's time to celebrate. And yep. AJ, it's so good to hear your voice. I miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we miss you, buddy.
Thanks. And next up is Stephanie Francombe from Steel Chair Wrestling from France. Stephanie?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, guys. Congratulations for this win.
Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock in France, so I'm a little loopy. But wanted to ask, winning this belt alongside all the belts that you have won in your career, what does it mean for you, winning these belts from this company that you built? Congratulations again, because it was a great match.
Thank you. First off, thanks so much for staying up all night with us and watching our show. It means so much. Mm-hmm. This is everything. This is the biggest accomplishment of our career.
Yep.
I didn't know that it would feel so special as it does. It's hard to express.
I was crying.
I teared up. I'm not a very sentimental or emotional person as far as when it comes to wrestling. When it comes to family, I'm a baby. But it hit me when I heard the count of 3 and I had tears well up in my eyes. And it's just, it took so long. This was really 2 years in the making. And it was surreal. And all the other titles, all the other accomplishments, they were huge. The IWGP Junior Tag Title, we won those 7 times. I think we were PWG champions 3 or 4 times, ROH champions 3 or 4 times. This was everything for me. This was like winning the Super Bowl.
It's hard to compare. Huh?
It really is.
It was so special.
AEW's our baby. So,
and we don't lie when we say that we have the best tag division in the whole world of wrestling. And we got such hard-hitting competition here. And Man, we were on a losing streak, a slump, if you will, for so long, and just to climb that hill and finally get what we deserved and what we wanted for so long.
Right.
Just so happy.
And a lot of like what you saw throughout the year, it reflected our real life. Like the story was we really couldn't pull it off, and we just couldn't do it. But
Right.
you know, a lot of that was reality. A lot of that felt like us. Like maybe we weren't selling the same amount of merchandise that we once were. Maybe we weren't having the same matches that fans were used to us having. And so it felt real, and it was real.
It did. You know what? We actually had a conversation Wednesday after the Wrestling Private Party, because if you remember, we had lost to them in a tournament match about a year ago. And last Wednesday, we wrestled them, we beat them, and after the match, Matt and I got to our locker room, and we said, man, we still got it.
Yeah.
We're still the best tag team in the world. Let's show the world this Saturday. And that was a huge confidence booster, and it gave us momentum riding into Saturday. And I feel like
That's
that
what we
was a
needed.
big reason. Yep.
That's what we needed.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. We've got Joel Torres from Contralona up next. Joel?
Hi guys, how are you? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
First of all, not only working with FTR, but working with Tully Blanchard. How does it feel, you know, working with a legend like Tully Blanchard? And do you think that you had fulfilled everything in the pro wrestling business as a tag team?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
I'll start
Mhm.
part one. Having guys like Tully, Malenko, Arn, it's unbelievable. Just being able to pick their brains, for them to come up to us with ideas. They come from a different era, and they've done this so much longer than all of us. So it's a knowledge that's endless, and Tully has been so great to have back here. It's funny because I used to sit back and watch the Rockers versus the Brainbusters, and having Tully and Arn here, it's so surreal. And a lot of what our match today, it was, you know,
There's a lot.
it was a
like
lot of
that,
that.
yeah.
It was a lot of inspiration from those matches. Being out there and doing it, it felt like I was, you know, performing in one of those old matches I used to watch when I was a kid. So it was really cool. Is this the biggest thing we've ever done? Yeah, I think so. It's definitely my most proud that I've ever been. I can't really, like, the biggest thing in my real life I can think of is having my children, getting married, winning the
I could
AEW
answer
tag
what's
titles.
next, though. Like,
Yeah, what is next?
it's to keep these championship belts,
Yeah.
obviously, and we want to have a hell of a tag run. So we don't want to lose them, obviously.
We don't want it to be a fluke. Like, we had a great match, we won them, and then nobody remembers our run.
Right.
Like, now it's time to put in the work. And
It was such a big moment tonight. So if we drop them Wednesday, that would be a nightmare.
we can't sit back and relax. We got to keep going now.
Yeah,
pedal
our
to the
goal is
metal.
to make it as big as possible. And when we started this company and we helped build this company, we always said tag team wrestling could be the main event. We proved that tonight. And that's probably one more goal that we would like to do is make the next pay-per-view or whenever, the next Dynamite,
And I
a
think
massive tag title match as a main event.
I think clearly, like, we should have a big main event, and I think that after tonight, there's a big rematch down the line. And I think people
FTR, those guys are machines.
Yeah.
It was surreal being in the ring with those guys. Yeah, show those. Show those
we got them
titles.
right here.
Thank you.
Look at those beauties.
Yeah, speaking of, we got to get these
They're heavy.
nameplates off and
Oh,
put
yeah.
our
Poor
names
guys.
on there. But you know what? I'll be honest, those guys are machines.
They're great.
It was insane getting in there with them. It felt like it was like a out of body experience wrestling those guys.
They
It was
were
a
like
dream.
aggressive and
Oh my
hard hitting.
God.
I told Nick afterward, they reminded me a lot of back in the day when we used to work guys like Roderick Strong
Right.
and Brian
Briscoe
Danielson and the
brothers.
Briscoes and
Yep.
Claudio and Chris Hero. It's that same rugged smash mouth style.
They're probably the best
bring
tag team I've ever been in the ring with.
Fantastic.
Thanks. And the last question is from Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful. Sean?
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time. Matt, we heard that you had, at least reportedly, a legitimate knee injury. How's that feeling? What process did you go through to get ready for tonight? And how will that affect you all? I mean, Nick just sat there and said it'd be a nightmare if you all lost these titles early, whether legitimate or it's just you being good at your job and making us think that it's legitimate. It seems to play a factor.
It's a very real injury that I've been dealing with. And it's been a rough year for me. Like, I come back after all that time off when we were on lockdown, and the first thing I do is I break my rib when I jumped out of the dugout.
Yeah.
And I dealt with that for a second, and that sucked. And then we did the Falls Count Anywhere match with Butcher and the Blade, and I decided it would be a good idea to jump off the entrance.
It was definitely your idea too.
To dive off the entrance set into a diving elbow through a table where there is only concrete, by the way. Not a good idea. For a while, I was walking around at home and having a hard time kind of hobbling around, and I thought I might have had a hairline fracture in my fibula or something. My amazing wife, who's also watching this, noticed that I was having a hard time getting around, and she had Dr. Sampson order me an MRI just to see what was going on. And turns out that it wasn't my fibula. It was actually soft tissue. And it was the back of my knee. It was my MCL. And it was diagnosed that after looking at the MRI, that I had a slight tear. Nothing at the time that
Your
needed
ACL
surgery.
too.
And then the most interesting part that I found about was they said that I had thinning of my ACL, which they also considered a slight tear. I haven't had any pain really in my ACL, just wear and tear. I remember thinking back, have I ever hurt my ACL? And I remembered back at maybe 2008, I banged up my knee and I had a hard time with it for a second. And that's the only time I could recall ever hurting my left knee in that area. So after talking to a couple of doctors, we're under the impression that the ACL may be a decade or older. And the MCL is brand new. It's something I've been dealing with. I've been rehabbing. I've been taping it before every match. And this was my 9th match, I believe, with the injury. And honestly, I felt pretty good with all things considered. And our medical staff is amazing. They would never send me out there if they weren't confident with me and how I felt. And I know my body as well. So all things considered,
Well,
I
now
felt
you got an ankle issue too.
now the ankle thing. But all things considered, I feel pretty good about it. The doctors feel pretty good about it. I'm going to take every precaution possible. And if it starts bothering me, we'll see what happens. I'll do the right thing. But I'm not too worried about it right now.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
That's
watching
it.
the show.
Thanks, Jax.
No problem.
Okay, guys, we've got Serena Deeb coming up, and just want to let you know that the first question will be from Sean Radican. Hello. Thanks for joining us here. We've got a few questions. I think you're on mute. Sorry, I think still on mute there. We're going to try to get you some help. How's that? Can you hear us okay?
No, she muted the mic. She needs to unmute the mic now.
Yeah, let's unmute the mic. Sorry about that. Just unmute that.
Is that good?
Okay, great. All right,
Okay.
perfect. Hello,
Thank
thanks for
you.
joining us
Hi.
tonight.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much. Yeah, we've got a few questions lined up for you. The first one is from Sean Radican from Pro Wrestling Torch. Sean? Sean? Hang in there, Serena.
No problem. Take your time.
Nah, it looks like Sean
Sean,
might
wanna
be
try
having
one?
some, nah, he might be having some difficulties.
It happens.
Okay,
Oh, wait, Sean?
we can come back to Sean.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Hi, sorry about that.
No problem.
Serena, I just wanted to ask you, coming back into wrestling in AEW, you've just, you've looked so good in the ring, and, I've enjoyed all your matches. I've watched you going, back into the mid-2000s and a shimmer, and just seeing you this year has been incredible. I just want to ask you, what's it been like, getting into AEW and becoming the NWA Women's Champion and having this level of success?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Sean. Thank you so much for your support over, man, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. It's been surreal, to be honest with you. I have to really pinch myself and check that this is actually reality. I spent 3 years coaching and 5 years out of the ring. And I mean, I loved coaching, but I always felt like I wasn't done wrestling. And that was a feeling that it persisted. It never really went away. And so I always wondered if I would wrestle again. And just the turn of events of the pandemic and then losing my coaching job and just wanting to wrestle, but not really, shows not running and all this stuff. And then the AEW just came out of nowhere, and it was everything's just been moving so quickly, and it's been awesome. And I'm having so much fun right now. I'm having more fun with wrestling right now than I probably have ever had. I'm having so much fun in the ring, and just, it's, like I said, it's pretty surreal, man. This is something I thought about for years. When I say years, I mean 5 years. And there's nothing in this world I love more than wrestling. And it's an honor to be at AEW. It's an honor to be representing NWA as their women's champion. It's historically speaking in wrestling, the NWA, the champions of the NWA are some of the most incredible names in pro wrestling history. So it's really amazing, and I'm honored. I'm having a blast, and I really appreciate your support. I hope that answered your question.
Thanks so much. Next question is from John Alba from Spectrum Sports. John.
Hey, thank you guys. Serena, really appreciate your time. I'm curious your thoughts on this. It's been a pretty big topic of chatter lately. AEW has this congruent NWA and AEW women's division going on simultaneously right now. And the NWA stuff has been featured really prominently. How would you like to see the integration of that moving forward, not just from an in-ring standpoint, but also maybe a storyline standpoint and getting more women involved in prominent positions?
That's a great question, John. Well, I mean, if you think back on pro wrestling in the territory days, people were just swapping around. They were traveling here, traveling there, working with different people. And when wrestling became really monopolized and separated, I think it was to the detriment of talent and fans too, because, so-and-so's here, so-and-so's here, you can't see that match. And as understandable as it is, I think this cooperation, this partnership between NWA and AEW is super powerful. And I think it's going to change wrestling. From a women's standpoint, I'm really excited about it because I think the AEW women's roster is really growing and it has so much potential. And, you know, people coming in from the outside, when you're in wrestling, it only helps you to wrestle other people and other women and other men. It just helps you the more you get in the ring with different people. You become a more well-rounded wrestler. So I think with this partnership and different women coming in and different women going elsewhere, it's going to just benefit everybody. I think the fans are really excited about it too. And it just keeps it very interesting because you can't, you know, there are things happening. Me going to Primetime Live and winning the NWA championship and then bringing it back to Dynamite and defending it a week later and defending it tonight on the buy-in, you know, it's things that people just haven't seen for a long time. And I think it's really fun and really powerful.
Thanks. Next question is from Amy Nemedy at WrestleJoy. Amy?
Hi, Serena. You essentially became an overnight sensation to fans who were new to you after your match with Thunder Rosa with AEW. Now that you are the NWA champion and you've put on another killer match at the buy-in, looks like you're going to be facing Thunder Rosa perhaps for a rematch. Who else would you like to face for the NWA title, either in NWA itself or within the AEW roster?
Amy, that's an awesome question as well. Thank you so much. I mean, the first name, instinctual answer that comes to mind is Shida, definitely. She's been a pretty long reigning AEW women's champion, and I think she's incredible. Some of the best times of my career were in Japan, and I just love the style of Japanese wrestling, and I love watching Japanese wrestling, and it really resonates with me. So when I see Shida perform and wrestle, I just know that I think that, you know, we would have an awesome match. She's somebody that I really want to get in there with. And, you know, just, I am the NWA Women's Champion currently, but, you know, showing up at AEW and joining this roster, without a doubt, I have my eyes on the AEW Women's Championship. Without a doubt. And I think Shida's one of the most incredible female competitors I've ever seen. I really look forward to that match.
Thanks. And the last question is from Samantha Shipman at Daily DBT. Samantha?
Hi, Serena.
Hi, Samantha.
It's nice speaking with you. You had an incredible match with Allison, and it's great to see you, you know, from where you came from in WWE and into AEW. And I just wanted to touch more about what you said about the crossover with the women. Like, what do you think the AEW can do to make their women's division more prominent and to make it have like in-depth storylines that the men are getting that we don't really see right now? What would you think that, you know, you can bring to that to represent the women's division on TV?
Hey, Samantha, thank you so much. Well, the last part of your question, when you said, what do you think you can bring? I mean, from a personal standpoint, my objective is to be a leader here. You know, I came from a position where I had to be a leader, and that's the thing I'm striving for the most right now, is just lead by example and try to help this forge forward, this division forge forward to be what I know it can be, what everybody knows it can be. Everybody works so hard here. The girls are training all the time, and I think it's just a matter of there's quite a bit of inexperience, and the only remedy for that is time and energy and, you know, and working towards changing that, you know. And sorry, there's a lot of noise in the background. So I think the inexperience is a really good thing, a really positive thing, because there's so much room for growth. There's so much potential. I know the women's division here, everyone has a really amazing attitude, and that's something that I haven't seen in other places I've been. So we're at a great starting out point. AEW's only been around for a little over 8 years, so there's so much growth still to be had. And you know, I'm just hoping to be a leader, and I hope that my matches help elevate other people, and I want to bring everybody up, you know, so that's definitely my intention, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this division can do.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you guys so much. Much love, you guys.
Thank you, Serena.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, guys, we've got John Moxley coming up.
Thank you guys.
The first question will be Alex McCarthy, followed by Louis Dangor, followed by Cassidy Haynes, okay?
Great.
And please raise your hand, and we'll do our best to get to everybody.
Good.
Hi, John. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're going to dive right in, John. So thanks again. The first question.
Yeah, it's not.
Hi, John. Alex here from TalkSport. Congratulations on a great main event.
Thanks, sir.
I just wanted to ask you really about how much it meant to you to work that kind of match with someone you have such history with in Eddie Kingston. The promos leading up to it were amazing. It felt like you really enjoyed telling that story, even if your body didn't.
Yeah, I love the whole thing. I think it was good. Felt like it was fucking good. Everybody seems to think it was good. I don't know, maybe everybody hated it, but I thought it was fucking awesome.
It was.
Like, yeah, the whole thing with Eddie has been really awesome. I guess I can say good things about him now because our beef is squashed for the moment. Well, I have two headphones. All right. Yeah, the whole, like, the way this all kind of came about was kind of, Lance, I get called at 2:30 in the afternoon, day of Dynamite. I had a whole other set of plans for Lance and ideas that I pitched that was going to go in a whole different direction, and then get a call, Lance tested positive. Son of a bitch. Every week somebody's got COVID, whatever. So what do you think about you and Eddie? Interesting. Jump right into this, and then he never choked him out. He never tapped, and then he's like, I didn't tap, and it's like it just made perfect sense. I was like, I think we can. I'm telling you, dude, we can do me and Eddie. Like, he's kind of new and he hasn't had a big name on the big stage for very long. I was like, I know this fucking guy. I know me and Eddie can sell a match. Like, it's in 4 weeks. I know we can. I just had all the faith in the world, and I've not handpicked or anything. Any opponents, whatever Tony's put in front of me, whether it be every single title defense I've had, whoever he wants me to work with, I work with that person and do my absolute best to get them over and make them better than they came in with, and have a different style of match so that I can wrestle any style, high flyers, the technicians, the monsters, hardcore matches, wrestling matches. I can do any fucking style. I can do Bloodsport on Sunday and come in and do a crazy hardcore match on a Wednesday. I could do a dirty I Quit match like tonight. Just show my versatility. But so I've whatever they put in front of me, I've taken. But with the thing with Eddie, I was like, yeah, man, I think we can do this. And Tony's like, let's do it. And we were talking about it was so easy. We just like, after we do the thing where he attacks me and he's talking all his trash, and I was like, dude, all we need to do is promos. We don't need to do any crazy angles. He doesn't need to hook my foot while I'm running the ropes or anything stupid. We don't need to overthink it. Like we can if you want us to fill extra TV time, but like all we need is promos. He'll talk a bunch of shit for a couple weeks. I'll talk a bunch of shit for a couple weeks from my home or my training camp or whatever. And then the week before, like the go home, we'll have a face-to-face. I sent Tony like a YouTube clip of like Nick Diaz, Paul Daly face off at Strike Force. So I was like, we'll just have this kind of atmosphere, And then it turned out even better the way we did it. And it's so easy. The segment we did the other night, in the ring. Show up at 4:30. What do you want to do? Face-to-face talk for like 6 minutes. Okay. Me and Eddie talk a little bit. I don't really know what he's going to say, but we know the story. And it's like, it was like effortless because, I mean, you got to think about it and get in the mindset. But if I know story and you know story and we become that person, we just go out there and talk and sell it. And I absolutely knew we could. And it just worked out great. And like Eddie and me are both, we don't put on the uniform in the morning and take it off at night. Eddie Kingston is the exact same person outside the ring as he's in. And it's pretty close in the ring as I am in real life. Like there's not much difference with me and him. And we have so much history and there's so much real emotion there between us that like, it's just been easy and just a pleasure. And like, I love storytelling. I love physicality and the adrenaline and the danger and all that. I love that too. And the wrestling and, I want to get out there and trade some fucking holes, man. I love wrestling, but I love the storytelling. It's like the most satisfying thing, when you visualize something. I don't know how it came off, but I was like, dude, I'll be like, you gotta fucking quit, man. There's no other way out. And just you're indignant and just same shot we had in the promo where I was behind you and you weren't looking at me. Give the fucking bird from behind. Like that. I don't know if it came off like that or not, but that was like I have shots like that in my head. I'll try to like visualize. I love this stuff's fun, man. So to answer your question, it feels good.
Thanks, John. Next question is from Louis Dangor from Russell Talk. Louis?
Hi, John. Thank you very much for taking time. And just a quick note, how you wanted it to come off definitely came off the way it did with that flipping the bird from behind bit. But question I wanted to ask you, at the end of the show, we saw a bit of a tease, I guess, for you and Kenny after he won the Eliminator tournament earlier on in the night. Obviously, you guys have faced each other before last year at Full Gear. Any sort of indication when that match is going to be? Is it a set date like a Revolution next year, or is it, I guess, where the story goes? And how are you feeling about working with Kenny again?
I mean, I know the preliminary plans, but I can't reveal that, and that could change. We never know, especially in 2020. Shit can change. But yeah, definitely. Obviously, he's one of the best in the world, and sharing the ring with a guy that good is always awesome. So yeah, I just want to kind of bathe in the afterglow tonight for right now and have a couple beers. But when I get back to work tomorrow and then focus on that, and then we have a whole new thing that'll be a whole different set of circumstances than the last time we had a rivalry together. Now we're two different places. We're in completely different places as characters, as wrestlers, and to be a whole new thing. So, that's a completely open book and a completely open chapter that we'll get down to working on.
Thanks. Next question is from Cassidy Haynes from Body Slam. Cassidy?
Hey there, John. How are you?
What's up?
I do have a question. Right before things went the way they did with Archer testing positive for COVID, they had stuff involved with you with Darby Allin and Will Hobbs. Are you guys hoping that you guys can return to that storyline at some point? Are you guys hoping that you can get back and work with Hobbs again in the near future, or maybe even another match with Darby sometime before the rematch with Omega?
Yeah, I don't know when, or I'm sure I'll always, whoa, weird static. I'm sure I'll always circle in the orbit of Darby Allin as a partner or a opponent over the future. So, and I always down for that. And no secret what I think about him. And big fan of Will Hobbs too. And I was looking forward to giving him some spotlight and shine in that little 6-man, and it never came off. And by the time we got back to where everybody was healthy, it was like, well, now we only have another, like, there's no point in even doing it now. I had a whole plan for that match that it all went to the wayside. But it would have been directions would have gone a whole different way. But it just, there was like no point in doing the 6-man. But, I mean, if next week you want to do a tag match, I'd love to partner with Will Hobbs. I think he's got a bright future. I think he's got a lot of potential. So, I would love the chance to work with newer guys and kind of help guys get along and get whatever rub I can give people, whatever I have to offer, my whatever my ass can do for somebody. I'd love to.
Thanks. Next up is Izzy from the Hot Tag with Izzy. Izzy, how you doing there?
I'm not hearing nothing.
Yeah, hold on one sec. I think she just needs to unmute her microphone. Izzy, you want to try that again?
Really dropping the ball here.
Could
Izzy.
come back to you. Let's give her one more chance. Then we can come back to you, Izzy, if you like, but you want to try again? All right, Izzy, we'll come back to you, okay? We're going to go to Nick Hausman. Nick?
What kind of operation are we running here?
Nick, you need to unmute your line.
John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah,
John, thank you very much for taking the time. I was just wondering, Tony Khan recently spoke about how he has restricted talents from taking independent bookings because of what happened with COVID-19. What's your advice right now to independent talent who is trying to navigate the very rocky waters of trying to get noticed right now during the pandemic?
Yeah, that would be that's a tough question because the indie talents were hit really hard with all this, and that's another reason I did the show the other week. I felt like I really had a responsibility because I've been booked for that twice, and when Josh hit me up, Barnett, I know he's one of the smartest guys I know, so he's not gonna be running some 2-bit operation. Everybody on Bulletsport was tested as far as I knew. All that kind of group was separate. I took extra steps myself. I stayed in my own hotel. I made sure I got my own space. I was do everything I can. And I guess that's the best thing I could tell for people as far as staying safe, not just in wrestling, but in anything. If you're going to do anything, you're going to go to the grocery store or try to attend an event, or even if you come to an AEW show, you have to take a certain amount of, we can make the show as safe as possible and put all the rules into place. But if you don't follow them, then what can we do? You have to take personal responsibility to make sure that you do the things you need to do, social distance, and I do as everything possible. I try to stay in my own bubble as much as possible in everywhere in life. So, but as far as getting noticed, and I'd say just that's a tough question, I guess. Take every opportunity and do whatever. If you got to drive 15 hours to get a tryout for a dark match at NXT or AEW or wherever it's going to be, or, you just got to keep your nose to the grindstone. And this is a tough time for an independent wrestler, but do everything you can as safely as possible and just now you're going to have to work twice as hard because the way the world is now, which sucks, but it is what it is. And, I say to guys, that, look at Eddie Kingston, 18 years grinding, almost quit. But it's like, if he'd have quit after 17 and a half years, he wouldn't have got, he was so close, he was like this close. He didn't realize he was 6 months away or less than a year away from main event of pay-per-view. You can't have if it takes 11 years to make it, you can't quit on the 10th year, no matter how tough that is. You can't win the 11th hour if you quit in the 10th hour. So just, keep your nose to the grindstone and just work and take every opportunity you can. But more important than that, take personal responsibility for your safety and others' safety.
Thanks, John. And last question, we're going to give Izzy one more chance here. Hopefully the microphone can work. Izzy, can you try to ask your question?
Let's just guess what we think her question
Right.
was.
Well, we're not going to give up on Izzy. We'll hopefully come back. But then let's try Stu Merrick. Stu from KTXXFM. Stu.
Stu, there you go.
John, congratulations on the win tonight.
Appreciate you.
You mentioned the stop and start of certain programs because of COVID-19 and such. You've dealt with it in your own circle as well. What's been kind of that guiding principle? What has kept you from getting too frustrated? Has there been a person that you've kind of sought solace from to keep you grounded and keep you in the game, so to speak, I guess, as far as not getting too frustrated about, your work being affected by this pandemic?
Well, I'm the world champ around here, and it's not my job to get frustrated. It's my job to take every opportunity and make it as best I can and tell stories. And I think, me and Tony have a good relationship, and everybody here does. And, it's a team effort. We just, since the beginning of all this crap, when I was stuck at home for a while or whatever, and they're filming in Atlanta, and it was all weird, and we didn't know if we were going to do this pay-per-view, but he's like, we got to do the pay-per-view. And it's like, dude, like he was explaining to me the situation and the direness of the situation, and no, from the get-go, no pressure whatsoever. Like, dude, if you want to come, that'd be great. But, if you pandemic, whatever, just, no. And I was like, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm ride or die with you, man. Let's do this. Because it's vital to the industry that AEW be a success for the whole industry, for as the good things that have all come from it across the board. So, but, as far as those storylines, you just got to pivot. You got to realize in 2020, and for hopefully not into next year, whatever, however long this thing is around, the day of the show, no matter what show it is, everything can change because somebody can get sick on the day or pop for COVID or whatever, or somebody was in contact with somebody, and like you can't literally bubble wrap yourself. You might find out that shit, I was in contact with, and like now I'm off the show. Like that can happen. Like the whole card today could have changed, on a dime. And it's just, I don't think fans are sympathetic to that and understand that, like, I know everybody would rather people be safe. And, if we didn't get this match, we didn't get me and Archer that week, we'll do it in 2 weeks. No big deal. We'll do it in 2 weeks. We didn't have me and Cage on the one day. We'll do it in 2 weeks. No big deal. Like, you just got to kind of roll with the punches. And, Eddie is a guy who took, an opportunity and stepped in. And we have so many guys in AEW who are ready to step in on a moment's notice and take opportunity that, I got all these great wrestlers to wrestle. So it's easy for me. And it's, if I didn't get to work with this guy, this other guy presents a whole new set of challenges and a new opportunity for a different story. It's just an endless opportunity for different kinds of storytelling. So, and we got 52 weeks in a year, 2 hours every week. There's plenty of time to tell plenty of stories. So if you got to miss something here and circle back around to it, long-term stories are going to be a little tough for the next year because, like I said, anything can change at a moment's notice. So you just take it as it is and roll with the punches. It's my job to, try to bring, it's been my job in 2020 to try to bring stability in a very unstable world. And when you tune in for a distraction and inspiration and just fun is what you tune in to watch wrestling for. That's the best we can provide. So I'm trying to be like the Rock of fucking Gibraltar. Like, that Jon Moxley, no matter what is put in front of him, no matter what challenge he faces, he's going to find a way by hook or crook. He's the fucking champion. And I've been kind of the one stable thing over the last few months, so that's kind of how I take it. It's not my job to worry. It's my job to get shit done.
Thanks so much, John. We really appreciate your time tonight. Congratulations again. Thanks.
Cool.
You're done. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Okay.
Okay, guys, next up we have Tony Khan. Stay tuned. Justin Schlegel, you'll be the first one. Justin from 98 Rock, okay?
Thank you.
And you are good to go.
Hi, Tony. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Mandy.
Our first question is from Justin Schlegel from 98 Rock, Baltimore. Justin?
Tony, good evening. Congratulations on another amazing pay-per-view.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, I wanted to talk about something very briefly from Wednesday Night Dynamite that people are still talking about even with the pay-per-view tonight, and that was the promo that we saw from the Bastard Pac. That sounds like he might be finally coming out of exile. And with so many great new storylines tonight with the Young Bucks getting the championships as well as Darby Allin becoming the TNT champion, as you look forward to 2021, do you see some of your foreign wrestlers that unfortunately were some of the initial victims of this pandemic finally being able to be folded back in, namely Pac, namely some of the Joshi finally being able to make their way overseas and back to Daly's place where they can be reintegrated into the roster?
I've been hopeful for a long time. The issue is sometimes for people who live overseas that when they get back, they have to quarantine upon arrival, which is totally understandable. And that's been the issue for a long time. And I'm really excited to get all of those people back, Pac included, whenever it's possible. And whenever he's coming back, I think people are going to have to stay tuned. I'm really excited for Pac and a lot of our other international stars coming back. He's one of the best wrestlers we have for sure. And I think it's a testament to the depth we have on the roster that we've been able to put on great shows like tonight without him and some of the great wrestlers we've been missing, such as some of the Joshi like Riho and Yuka Sakazaki. Thanks.
Thanks, Tony. Next question is from Bill Pritchard from WrestleZone. Bill?
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Quite well, thanks, man.
So I wanted to kind of go off of something that John just mentioned about the current climate affecting your ability to tell longer-term stories. And if you look at the pay-per-view calendar from now and then Revolution, it's almost 4 months away. So it's not, it's not the nice, even quarterly event that we're kind of used to. So are you going to do anything like you did last year with a Bash at the Beach style?
We are. It's a what a great question, Bill. You've teed up news that I'm going to break. There's going to be Beach Break in January, and in December we've got some huge events coming up also, and Dynamites and the ones coming up are going to be huge too. So we've got a really big slate of Dynamites coming up and some big events. I think in December we'll see some of our biggest shows we've done, and I think in January Beach Break will be a great event. So that's very much a good question that you asked.
Thanks. Next question is from Emily Pratt from Fanbyte Media. Emily Pratt.
Hi, Emily.
Hey, Emily, can we give it a shot, Emily?
Emily, you need to unmute yourself.
Do we lose Emily? Is Emily there?
Yeah, we can come back to Emily.
Okay.
In a second. Okay. Next up is we've got Sean Leolos from CBR. Sean.
Hey, Tony, congratulations on another great show.
Thanks, Sean. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, man.
I was, your champion so far. You've seen people like Jericho. You've seen people like Moxley. You've seen Cody, Brody Lee. These are people who've had a lot of success at other companies. Tonight, Darby Allin won the TNT title, and he might be you guys' first true homegrown talent to win a championship. And I mean, that's got to seem very, very awesome to see how people are reacting to it. Talk a little bit about Darby coming up and becoming possibly you guys' first big championship breakout that you created with your company.
I'm a huge fan of Darby. I think it was very appropriate that the fourth match between Cody and Darby here in AEW was this championship win for Darby, because Darby's debut here came against Cody. Our executive vice presidents do a great job scouting people and bringing them up to our attention. And Cody wanted to work with Darby from the beginning. And I was very, very up for it and was excited to sign Darby to a multi-year deal. And then quickly, when I saw what what value adds to this company, I extended it. So Darby signed here for many, many years to come. Because after the match he had with Cody, I realized that Darby's going to be a huge, huge star. I saw he had potential, but I had no idea until Fyter Fest in Daytona 2019 in the summer. And so I really, really believe in Darby. And I think everybody, our fans and everybody here in the company believes in him, wrestlers and our staff and our executives alike, and myself, is booking the company. And so I've really, really tried to build Darby strong. It's crazy because yesterday marks 6 months since the build of Team Taz versus Darby started. So I thought it was really fitting that he won the match, and then that story is continued because Taz and Darby, and also fitting because it was after the third Cody Darby match, which was the semifinals of the TNT title tournament, that Darby kind of had a beef set up with Taz because Taz tried to impart some advice to Darby that Darby didn't want, and then Taz kind of condescended to Darby. And Darby pointed out to Taz, if anybody remembers, it was 6 months ago yesterday, that Darby was a very accomplished amateur wrestler. So, he didn't need Taz's condescending advice. And that led to the casino ladder match. We saw Darby bring in, we saw Taz bring in Brian Cage to stop Darby from winning the casino ladder match, took out Darby, and this whole thing's taken a lot of twists and turns. Moxley and, of course, now Ricky Starks got involved. And we've done so much to try and make Darby special. I think if you look at all the great video packages he's put together, he's a really creative person. He's a brilliant talent. He's a crazy stunt man, but he's also just such a great wrestler who's got such great star power and charisma. And he's a really gifted filmmaker, and that's pretty cool. And I thought it was really just a great coronation, and the whole thing came off excellent. And credit to Cody for everything he's done, and really everybody here, the coaching staff, the EVPs have done a lot to try and develop Darby. Like you said, I feel like he's his own man. I mean, he made himself a star, and that's the most important thing. And he's just a really tremendous person to work with. I talk to him pretty much every day, which is funny because I say this all the time. I don't think there's anybody I have less in common with than Darby. And I just really enjoy working with him. I've really bonded with him personally. I think he's somebody that's really the future here. And it was just a great match tonight, which is another great match in the series with Darby and Cody. It's a great rivalry. And I thought it was really fitting because we started 2020, January 1st here at Daly's Place with the second match. And through the pandemic, they've provided both of them individually some of the best matches we've had in AEW since then. And I think tonight that was really great. So thanks for asking, because I'm glad to have a chance to talk about Darby because I think he's really special.
Thanks, Tony. We're going to try Emily Pratt again. Emily.
Hey, Emily.
Can we help her out, Robin? Sorry, Emily. We're really trying here.
Hey, can you? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Hey. I heard somebody that wasn't
hi,
me.
am I good? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, Tony. So we saw some cameos from Hurricane Helms and Gangrel this evening. Are there any plans for them to show up in AEW in the future?
I'm not sure. You know, you never know. To be honest, I don't have either of them booked on anything in the next loop or in the immediate future, but I'm also really open to both of them coming back. And I was at the compound for the deletion, producing the match, and I spent time with both guys. I've known Shane for a while, and I had never met Gangrel before, and I really enjoyed spending time with both guys, and I'd love to see both of them come back at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Sure.
Next up is Chris Mueller from Bleacher Report. Chris?
Hey, Chris.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great, man.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. So we saw Don Callis tonight, and he was there for the Kenny Omega match. Is that something that we can expect more of in the future, to see Don on the show, or was that just a one-time thing for Kenny?
It was definitely something I did for Kenny, and I put it together with Impact and agreed for Don to come. He's an executive there. I'd love to have Don back in the future, and I'm open to working with people, as I think we've demonstrated multiple times that AEW is probably the most friendly major company, definitely right now. We've got good partnerships, and we've done things with AAA and the NWA with championships. Of course, Kenny Omega is the AAA mega champion. The Lucha Brothers are the AAA tag team champions, and then Serena Deeb is the NWA women's champion, and they're all under contract here. So I love working with other companies, and you never know. So I'd be open to Don coming back. That's definitely possible. He did a great job tonight on commentary, I thought. It was a great match, and it was great to have Don here. And he's called a lot of great Kenny matches, and he called another one tonight.
Thanks, Tony. Next up is Stephanie Chase from Digital Spy. Stephanie?
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Quite well. Thanks for asking.
Okay, well, congratulations on another fantastic pay-per-view. In 2020, you've presented your first full year of pay-per-views. So as we move into 2021, are you looking to expand on that, or do you think it's a good number and they're well enough spaced out for you to tell the stories that you want to?
I love our big four shows. I think having Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear as the big shows spaced out through the year, the big four, really provides anticipation. And then Dynamite, we have huge episodes of Dynamite, special events within Dynamite, but a lot of the episodes and cards we have are huge draws and have been huge successes. So I think we have got a great lineup. We're going to add a third hour of television in addition to, trying to develop and utilize a lot of our great talent on Dark. And I think we could definitely expand our programming. I don't think we'll have shows like these, these particular big four pay-per-views, but there are other platforms and other shows we'll develop for sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Tony. Next up is AJ from the AJ Awesome Show.
Oh, hey, AJ. How are you? Sorry to keep you up so late. I hope you like the show, man.
I loved it.
Great. It's good to hear from you. So what can I do for you? What do you want to know?
AEW Games announced an event next week. Can you give any major or non-major spoilers about it?
I can't say too much. We're making multiple games. We're working on more than one game at AEW Games. And we're going to cater to different platforms. We're going to cater to different kinds of games and different interests. I think we'll put a title out that's a console game that is best in class console game. We're really excited about it. We have some big surprises to come in 2020. I just can't say that enough, that, there's still time in 2020. This show was great, but there's still going to be a lot to come this year. And that can impact our video game plans. And I think also we're going to put something out that's for those people like myself that love putting wrestling cards together. And it'll allow somebody to do the job I do, which be the general manager of AEW and book cards. So that'll be fun. And there's going to be a few different titles. And then I don't think we're going to stop there either. I think we're going to look to expand at AEW Games because it's a great chance to build AEW and introduce gaming fans to AEW and introduce AEW to gaming fans and expand and build a business. So there's a lot to come there for sure. I'm glad you asked. It's a great question, AJ. I'm glad you like the show too. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Tony. We're going to try Izzy from the hot tag again. We had some little muting issues earlier, but we're going to really hope that Izzy can get through. Izzy,
Great.
you want to give it a shot?
Hey, Izzy. And I'm in no rush here, by the way. You guys, I can take some questions. It's a great question so far. It's a great show. So I want to make sure, hopefully, at least most of you get your questions. So Izzy, are you there?
No, it looks like we're still having issues on Izzy's side, so.
Sorry, Izzy. Hopefully catch you soon.
All right, okay, Izzy, we'll do our best, Izzy. Okay, next up is Sean Radican from Pro Wrestling Torch. Sean?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Quite well, thanks, man. Thank you for coming to the Scrum. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Great, man.
Really enjoyed the show. One question I really want to ask you is, all this young talent got from the indies got a crack on this show. Sammy Guevara against Matt Hardy at the Compound, Eddie Kingston versus Moxley, MJF against Jericho, Darby, Cody, even Cassidy versus Silver was quite popular on the independent scene recently. What was it like for you to, I know Cody helps you out with, you guys work together, bring the independent talent into the company, but what was it like for you to see this talent come and be such a almost every match, be a staple of the card and not only be a staple, but, deliver against big established names?
Well, thanks, man. I thought for sure a lot of the talent, when we started AEW, a lot of the talent had been established and had a lot of TV experience. And then there was a lot of the roster that had not worked on television a lot. And now that Dynamite's been on over a year and we've been doing pay-per-views for nearly a year and a half, I think that the roster's built a lot of experience, and a lot of the people you've talked about have accumulated a lot of experience working on TV. What was great about tonight also was, and I hope it came across on TV, the crowd was really hot, and here it certainly came across live, and I've heard it came across on TV, but that was the biggest crowd we've had, and it was totally safe in terms of physical distancing between the pods, putting people in socially distanced pods and spacing them out. We enforced mask wearing when people were not eating their food or drinking their drink that they had gotten there or brought in. And so I think that it was, that added to the show a lot too. The independents, I love independent wrestling. I have for a long time. It's not just Cody. I mean, Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny, they all scout the independents. Cody's been a very prolific talent scout, as have the Young Bucks, great eyes for talent, and Kenny Omega's a great eye for talent. Jericho recommends great people, and we've had a lot of great recommendations. But absolutely on the independents, I have worked with Cody on it, and on the TNT titles, there were some really good names on the independents. And there's some names on the independents that, aren't as good, to be honest with you. And it's a fine line, and I think we've done really well. And it's batted a really high average with the people we have brought in and had some success stories. And Eddie Kingston's another great example. But we've done well with it, and I think we're fortunate that we have some great people that are great eyes for talent, and that we've found some great talent that have developed into national wrestling stars and built a reputation on television. And it's a pleasure. I really enjoy putting the show together with this group of people. It's fun. And now we have this roster, a lot of people that are established on television, before they got here, and a lot of people that are established here, that have established here. And I think we've shown that we can build homegrown stars, as we've talked about. So definitely, Sean, it's great to see. I take a lot of pride in developing the stars we built here. It's a great part of the storytelling we do, and it also is good for the company and good for our future. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Next question is from John. Next question is from John Alba at Spectrum Sports. John?
Hey,
Tony,
John.
great to chat with you as always. Great show tonight.
Thanks. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Cody talked a lot about this the other day on the conference call on how personal you've taken this partnership with Billy Corgan and NWA and bringing this talent in, giving them a platform and enhancing your talent. At the same time, we've also seen there's been some start-stop with the AEW women's division. So what kind of effort is there being made right now to build congruency between the NWA and AEW women's division and maximize opportunities for your female talent?
Well, I think it's a great question. It's Serena Deeb, who's a full-time AEW wrestler and a really important part of our roster, is the NWA Women's World Champion. So, I mean, there was definitely a relationship, and there's definitely a good chance you're going to see the NWA title defended here, but the AEW women's title is still our top priority. And we have a great women's champion in Hikaru Shida. She's defended the title against many top contenders, and I think there's still some good matches in front of her, but I thought the match she had tonight was excellent. So I think, one thing is people say that, and I understand what people are saying about the division. I probably, and I should have probably done better to put some of Nyla's story when she said she wasn't going to wrestle again, and Vicky had said she wasn't going to wrestle again until they got the title shot. I should have used that on Dynamite more. I watched Dark very closely and worked on Dark very closely and booked Dark, so I'm obviously watching Dark, but I forget sometimes that there's about half the audience watches Dark for us typically. If we do, typically we'll do, say, in the overall audience, 800 to a million in the P2, on a good week, and 400 to plus in the demo. I think that the Dark is probably, I want to say, about half of that. And I think it's a good audience that we built, and it's a great show. But I probably should have put that on. And then, to be honest, the time in the real world, Vicky was not able to come those weeks, not because she was sick, but because there was a conflict that she always had. And so I gave her that time off, and it was, I probably should have made it clear. There's a lot to put in the shows together, and I'm glad they had a great match tonight. And but I understood what people were saying. When Shida accepted the challenge, because there was supposed to be some time for Shida to wait to accept the challenge for when Vicky was coming back, so Vicky and Nyla could have the rebuttal that they had this past week. So anyway, that's I hear you on that. I think that definitely our women's title is our top priority, but Serena is one of our best women's wrestlers, and she is the NWA champion. I have been working with Billy and booking the matches here with the NWA title with him. And, I book all of our matches, and whether it's with other companies or just our own wrestlers. So it's I enjoy working with Billy, and I've enjoyed working with Dorian and AAA in the past. And, it was good to get Don here from Impact. So we've sent wrestlers to New Japan many times. So I've done stuff with a lot of people, and it won't be the last time, but definitely I consider Shida and the AEW women's title our top priority, and Serena's definitely somebody to keep an eye on as one of our top stars. And I hope you enjoyed the scrum with her tonight. I sent her in here after her big win, and I thought she'd be a very good person for you guys to interview.
Thanks, Tony. Next up is Jim Barcelone from Miami Herald. Jim?
Thank you. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. It's great.
Oh,
great
that's
to hear
great.
from you.
That's great. Well, first, I'll try to make it quick, but first I got to say, thank you and AEW for AEW Dark and what you're doing for the indie wrestlers on that show. It's an awesome show, so thank you for that. Now, Full Gear. Yes, of course. Full Gear. It's so interesting because that first match you didn't buy in with Deeb, and then you go to Page and Omega, and they hit it. They both matches. And you get Cassidy Silver. They hit it. And the Young Bucks said earlier, it was like, man, we're watching the show, and everybody's hitting, and we got to step up. We got to step up. What was it like for you in deciding and your team in the match order and that putting that match order like that and how it worked? I mean, it really worked well, but what did you think?
It came out great. They came out great. We hit home run after home run, and it was a really fun show to put together. And I thought it went as well as it possibly could have. I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was the best wrestling show I've seen in a long time. And it didn't feel like a COVID era show. It felt like, for a lot of us, like being back at the peak. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, thanks for asking. It was was great to do. And thanks for mentioning Dark too. It's a pleasure. I do love having a chance to scout top independent wrestlers, and it's also great to give the independent wrestlers work, because the independent wrestling scene has been hit very hard. So I know a lot of those people appreciate it, and we found some people that we really depend on here, people that have gotten pushes and become a whole part of the show and gotten signed. So I think Dark is a great chance for us to develop people, and it's a great show, and we're always looking to expand our content, and I think Dark's been a real success for us.
Thanks. So last question of the night for Tony is from Joe Staszewski from the New York Post. Joe?
Hey, Tony.
Hey,
congratulations. Obviously, we waited a long time for this FTR Young Bucks match. One, can you talk about the story that those guys told out there tonight, and just Matt being able to kind of working through this injury right now?
Matt and Nick Jackson and FTR are 4 brilliant storytellers, and I thought that was one of the best tag team matches you're ever going to see, and I'm so proud that we had that on Full Gear, and to have that match in front of a great crowd here in Jacksonville. It was, all the tag teams, it was like a love letter to tag team wrestling. All the tag team finishes that they hit, and all the storytelling of the selling of Matt's injury, Nick's great hot tag, the way the crowd was just red hot, and then FTR, just absolute best heel tag team in the world. And it was just so fun, the dichotomy of these teams, and it's a dream match. It's been built up so long, and it was so emotional. And again, I'm so glad that it happened in front of the biggest crowd we've had since the pandemic started, close to 1,000 people, not including all the, staff and extras and stuff. So I really appreciate you asking about it, because I love to heap praise on that match also, and heap praise on Matt and Nick and FTR for putting that together, because it was really special. And the pop that the Bucks got at the end says it all. I mean, it was a testament to them and how much people wanted to see them win the championships. And I'm glad that it came out that way. And we've been building the Matt and Nick becoming the champions for a long time. And it's been a long time coming here, and it's been over a year since we did the tag team tournament, and Matt and Nick got knocked out in the first round, it's been close to 13 months ago by Private Party. And since then, it's been a great journey for them to get here. FTR were such a huge signing for us. We've signed some great wrestlers in 2020, including FTR. And I think, I was just really, really pleased with it. I hope, I hope everyone else really loved it too. And it just felt like we said in the previous question, we just hit home run after home run out there. And that was really special. So thank you so much. Thanks for asking about it. Thanks, Joe. I hope I got to most people's questions. I just really appreciate everybody. It's been a crazy year, and it sounds like everybody really liked the show from what I'm hearing. And thank you guys. I always really appreciate everyone who comes to these, and thanks for supporting AEW, or at least following AEW and covering us. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Mandy, for hosting this. And everyone, I hope you have a good night and good rest of your weekend.
Thanks very much, Tony, and thank you all for joining us tonight. The session will also be available tomorrow on AEW's YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks again, and have a great night.